everyone. How you doing? Welcome back to Shit Happens. I'm Andrew Flehan, and this is the show about your regularly everyday shit. Whether it's good shit, bad shit, could be about personal shit. It could be about your work shit. It could be about political shit. We all know how much we love that shit. It could be about anything. It's your regular day-to-day shit that I talk about that I don't think anyone else talks about. And remember, it happens, so, shit happens. And today, we're going to talk about... What? I'm doing my show.
Shit's gonna happen if you don't put those dishes in the dishwasher.
Ah, man, I'll get to it later.
Love you!
Love you too. And like I said, today we talk about relationships. So, relationships, like I said, oh my God, there's all kinds of relationships. This relationship shit that we just had is a loving relationship. It's called marriage. There's a lot of you out there that have marriages, whether it's between a man and a woman and a woman, or a man and a man. I do not discriminate. You could be maybe once a man and now you're a woman and you're married to another woman. That's fine with me. I don't care. Everyone is who we are, and that's who it is, okay? So I want to start off with relationships between siblings, sibling relationships. Um, I got to tell you, I have a brother. We don't really have a relationship. I guess it started a while ago, maybe 10, 12 years ago when I was about to get married. And I found out that he was never there for me the year before I got married. He was going to be my best man. He was just never there until maybe 4 weeks before my wedding when he called my wife to be and said, well, or actually my wife called him and said, what are you going to do for him for his bachelor party? And he's like, well, I don't know what he likes. Well, he never got to know me in that year before my wedding. And to tell you the truth, before I got married, when I was younger, I used to worship him because he's 4 years older than me and he had it all. And my dad was out of the picture since I was 2 or 3, so he was like not really my dad, but he was someone that I can look up to. And then I don't know what happened, but through the years, after high school, after he left college, something happened where we faded apart. But during my wedding, he just didn't want to do anything that I asked him to do, and he wanted to send my friends a letter saying, let's do a bachelor party, which 4 weeks before the wedding was just too late. So what happened is thank God I met this guy a couple of years ago that maybe he should have been my real brother. And I call him my brother from another mother. And that's my buddy Drew in Florida. And I love the guy. And I made him my best man. Because even though he hasn't been near me in that year, and I would see him once in a while because he lives in Florida, he knew everything I liked. He knew everything about me. He didn't necessarily have a bachelor party for me, but I went to see him, and we had some good time before, a couple months before my wedding. And I have a friend who's have a great relationship with. Her name is Rita, and you hear me talk about her at the end of the show because she's a great person. And she did my bachelor party. It was only her and another person, but still, I had a great time, and it was someone that really cared about me. As time went on, during my wedding, I had the guy, Drew, that should have been there for me my whole life. And he was my best man, and everything worked out. But since my wedding, I had a little to do with my brother because he wasn't there. When it came to the wedding, he made excuses that they couldn't hang out during the wedding. They had things to do. Meanwhile, they were out playing video games. He has 2 kids that were my niece and nephew, and I don't have anyone else. And what bothers me is my wife, to go off for a second, my wife has a sister. They fight sometimes, but they're sisters, and they love each other so much that whatever happened in the fight, that gets blown out. That just gets thrown away. They apologize and they become sisters again. They want to be with each other as sisters. They love each other. I'm not saying I don't love my brother, but right now, what do I love about him? I don't really know him anymore. It's been 10, 12, 13 years. I've tried to talk to him lately, and I don't know. I've seen him, and he doesn't really say that much to me. So maybe he just doesn't want anything to do with me. But he has two kids that were my niece and nephew, and he brought them into the fight that we're having after my wedding, which was, I said, yes, I was part of something that I said something wrong. I said some things, some bad things. And one bad thing I said was that if he was on the side of the road, hurt or dying, I would just pass him up. Yes, that's bad. But in rage, that's what I said. I could have said something even worse, like you go F and F and F or something like that, but I never did. Okay? So what happened after that is that he saved the message that I sent him on his phone, which I don't know who does that. He saved it forever. And his wife heard it, and his wife said to me that I was volatile, and if I ever tried to get in touch with the kids again, she would have me put up on charges for whatever, I don't know, whatever it was. She was going to have me arrested, or I don't know. At the time, she was in a fit of rage too. So what did I do? I called her a bitch. And I don't know what they said to their kids, but now it's 15 years later, and they don't want nothing to do with me. And I'm not a bad person. I'm a real nice person. If you know me, then you know that I'm fun. I have a good time, and I like to joke around, but they must have said some real bad stuff because I've tried to get in touch with them, and they don't want anything to do with me. And all I really would like to know is, what exactly did you say to those kids when they were, maybe 6 and 7 and 8, when they were really young, too young to understand what was going on between adults? And when you're having a relationship, whether it's a sibling relationship, a marriage between two people, whatever it is, a friendship, you never bring kids at a young age, under 10 at least, or anyone, or even under 5, you don't bring them into an adult problem. Because they don't know. They only know what their parents and whoever is there for them tells them. They don't know anything else. So there's only one side. And that relationship really bothers me. Because now I've wanted him to tell you kids, we're trying to talk and tell them that I'm a nice person, that what you said was wrong, and it was in a fit of rage. But I know my brother, he can't be proven wrong, so that's never going to happen. And it hurts me because I feel in my way that I have no one in the future. Yes, I have Drew. I have Michael, who's another one that I should have been a brother to by blood a long time ago, who was Drew's brother from another mother. But there's certain people in my life now that I know I should have been with for a long time. But like they say, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your family. I love my family, but we don't always get along on the same page. My dad and I are just starting to get to know each other again. A while back, he thought that he could tell me anything to do, what to do. For what? I don't know. I didn't know him when I was younger. Maybe I did, but not as much, because when you're young, you don't comprehend everything as you do when you're an adult. So relationships in that way is just, you got to wait till you to form your mind a little bit more. So, but what I'm saying is that relationships between siblings can be a bond that lasts forever because it's family, it's blood. But there could be siblings that never talk to each other and don't even know each other and probably walk by each other on the street and wouldn't even recognize each other. That's a shame. That is some real relationship shit. It bothers me. But like I said, my wife and her sister, they have a great relationship. Yes, they fight here and there, but they love each other. They want to be with each other. I don't want to sound that as weird or anything, but they're sisters. One lives in Florida, one lives here in New Jersey with me. So it's tough for them, but they still keep it together. They call each other, they text each other. That is great. That is fantastic. Now, my brother from another Drew and my brother from another Michael, I don't see them all the time, but I text them, I call them, we speak. For a while, I was an over the road truck driver, so it was hard for me to do anything. But now that I'm not, I get to see them. You know, there's other relationships, friends. I have friends. I used to live a long time ago, before I was married, before I moved to New Jersey. I used to live in California, where I wasn't a truck driver. I was a chef. I went to chef school. That's a whole nother story. Well, I have friends that I had roommates and people that I got along with so well in California. I went to see concerts with them. We became such good friends. In fact, I have one friend, America, and she is fantastic. I still talk to her. I might not see her for years, but I talk to her once in a while, and it's like we never, I never left there. I have another friend from college, Lisa Watts. Well, I don't want to say her last name, but Lisa. And I have a friend in California that I met where I was working as a chef, and I actually introduced them to each other, and now they're married, and they have a daughter named Rocky, who I love. I love you, Matt, and Lisa too, but that became like a more of a friendship. Not that it wasn't a friendship, but I was friends with both of them. And I might have not talked to them for a long time, but when we talked, it was like I never left college or I never left California. It's There's bonds that you make with people, and that relationship is awesome. And then they have a child, two people that you put together. Oh, you know how that makes me feel? It makes me feel great. I see her, I send her stuff for her birthday, for Hanukkah. I love Rocky. I love what she's becoming. She's a cute, beautiful young lady. I miss that. I miss my friends from California. It's hard to be away from people that you have a relationship with. That's a great relationship, and you don't get to see them. But now with social media and stuff like that, it's easy to talk to people and see people through FaceTime or whatever you got on your computer, or they can see me now. They can send me messages. They can see me on my live show right now. Uh, it's fantastic. So there's all kinds of relationships. I mean, it doesn't matter who you're with. It doesn't matter where you are, but relationships could be good and they could be bad. There's bad relationships out there, of course, because people get divorced. They got married because maybe they loved each other in high school, or they met at the job site and they had a great relationship at the job site, or maybe they met in the store. Maybe it was just a physical relationship, a lot of sex and drugs and rock and roll, whatever. Maybe it was people can talk on the telephone for a long time and they have an intellectual relationship with each other, and it doesn't really matter what they look like to each other. It's what matters is their brain compatibility, how they speak to each other, how they hold conversations with each other. That's a great relationship right there too. So it could be anything. You can get a relationship from anywhere. I mean, and it's not just human and human. There's I have a great relationship with my dog. They say dogs are your man's best friend, but yesterday we went to the beach. He took pictures with me. I mean, his name is Pork Chop. He's like my son. And a lot of people have great relationships with their pets. And I don't really like to call them pets because my dog is really like my son. I don't have any kids. He's my four-legged son. I treat him like that. Not that I let him sit up at the table and eat dinner and breakfast with us, but I don't. I don't keep a collar on him all the time. He has his own yard to play in. Yes, he stays in a crate when I'm at work, but he likes the crate. It's like a doghouse. It's like his own little space for himself. But he jumps on the couch. He sits with me. He sleeps in bed with me and my wife. I treat him like he's a human. I love him. It's a great relationship. It's probably a one-sided relationship where, you know, it's two-sided. I got to say that because he does love me. Because I could tell when I come home from work, his tail is wagging and he licks me and jumps all over me, and I know he loves me. He listens to my commands. I taught him how to sit. He sits. I taught him how to lay down. I taught him how to give me his paw. If he didn't do that, then he probably didn't like me, and there'd be no relationship. But people have relationships. When you're a little kid, you have tons of relationships with new kids your age because you go to school and everything's new, so everything's great. When you get a little bit older, you learn about new things. When you reach your teens, nowadays, I think people know a little bit, well, kids know a little bit too much about adult stuff, but there's a lot of, different kinds of relationships. And nowadays you have gay and lesbian relationships. You have, I don't know what they would call a man who turned into a woman who wants to be with another man. I don't know what kind of relationship that is, but there's relationships like that. There's relationships that a woman turned into a man and she wants to have a relationship with another man. I don't know what they call it, but that surely is a relationship. And whether you think it's bad and they shouldn't do it, it doesn't matter what you think because it's their relationship. It's not yours. And we live in a free world. Well, at least it was, or free land, at least it was a while ago, and now things are starting to change. But that's a whole nother show. Relationships in general are like, I don't know, I would have to say relationships in general, I would say it's a good thing. Because who wants to be alone? Who wants to, you know, before I met Jill, who's my wife, I had a lot of different relationships. They didn't last a long time. It took a while for me to be alone to find out who I really was and what I really wanted in a relationship with someone else. Wasn't did I just want to have sex all the time? Did I just want to talk to someone? I wanted a little bit of everything. Is what I found out, and I found her, and she's given me a little bit of everything. But there's people out there that have relationships and they want it all really quick. There's people that are clingy and they they start dating someone and they can't give the space to that person. It's constant. And what happens is they probably break up because there's no downtime. It's constant. You can't be with someone that's constant. Even when you're married, I'm not with my wife constantly. I go to work. There's times that I have to do things where I'm away and she's at home, or she has to be away, and I can't always be with her. So you need to find someone that's like that, if that's what you're looking for. You can't, if you're constantly with someone day after day, minute after minute, there's nothing going to be new. There's nothing, how do I explain this? You don't give a chance to, to, to learn anything new because you're with that person so much that you're there's going to be a point where you're going to have nothing, meaning that where are you going to go to? I mean, you know everything about that person. Not that I'm saying that I don't know anything about Jill, but there might be something that I don't know about her, or maybe there's a new like she has, or something like that. Everything takes time. Time. Um, there's relationships that I'm going to switch to now that I don't know it's time, but and I don't know what it is. But there's some women, and there's also some men that go out with someone and have a relationship, and the other person is abusive. Whether it's physical abuse, mental abuse, it's still abusive. And the one person that's getting the abuse, well, they tend to take it and try to hold on to the relationship like it's going to change and get better. And I don't understand why they hurt themselves or let themselves get hurt by the other person. And the other person, all they do is lie and cheat and maybe hit. I'm sure you've heard of these relationships. I just don't get that one person that's taking it. What are they afraid of? Are they afraid that this person, if they leave them, that they're going to come after them? I mean, does that person need to have someone in their life that they can hit and put down? Maybe, because they probably have a problem themselves of liking themselves. Maybe they don't like themselves or love themselves enough to have a relationship with someone else. Now, I'm not like a relationship counselor or anything. I'm just seeing the shit that I see that I'm talking about. Because there's a lot of shit out there, and no one really talks about it, so I have to do it. And like I said, there's some relationship shit that I see and I've come across that I don't quite understand, and I just don't get why people get together and then stay together when they're being hurt, or at least one's being hurt, and the other one loves to hurt that one. I don't get that. And then the other one that's being hurt, they want to stay. That just sounds stupid to me. And a relationship should be happy and bonding and fun, and not being upset and having people give them a hard time or slap them around or call them names. That doesn't sound like a relationship to me. That sounds like a S&M relationship where it's sex and someone's beating you in a dungeon and that's it, and you have a safety word like blueberries. Anyway, so there could be all kinds of relationships. Like I said, there's the pet relationship, there's people relationship, there's work relationships. Now, you might have a great work. I have a great job right now, and I have a great work relationship with George. Hey, George. And Bart, I don't really know Bart that well, but when I talk to him, it's all right. And those are the two guys I work with. And my boss, Joe, who I know because he's my boss, and I've met him, face to face. But of what I do, we don't really see each other a lot. We're on the phone and we get texted because we drive trucks. It's not like he's sitting in the truck with me, or he's sitting in a mobile unit somewhere where I can talk to him on the CV and talk to him all the time. So we do phones. Now the days we have cell phones, so that's how we do it. So I feel I have a great relationship with him. He might get mad at me for, whatever, for not getting a product to delivery at a certain time because I don't have enough hours to drive. But it's work. It's a work relationship. It could be a personal relationship after work. But that has nothing to do with the work relationship. For example, like I work with this guy, George. Now, we get along great at work. But there's also a personal part of it where I talk to him, like, for instance, about my show. And I talk to him about things other than work. That's a personal friendship, relationship. It has nothing to do about work. I'm sure down the line, maybe we'll go and hang out somewhere after work. But work is different. When you know someone at work and you have a personal relationship and a work relationship, they should never cross because one is something different than the other. And once they cross, then you're not going to have a good work relationship, and you're not going to have a good friendship after work. That doesn't work together. Sometimes it does because some people meet at work and then they get married and they have a great relationship and they still work together. But why would you want to, if there was a female truck driver and I was single and I, for example, wanted to, go out on a date with her, and if things didn't work out, why would I want to go to work and see her every day? Why? That's that's like you'd be upset with yourself. You wouldn't like to see her anymore because maybe something bad happened and you didn't get to finalize anything. Maybe you still have feelings. So I saw something and I heard something on the radio that there's really not a lot of work relationships that turn into marriage anymore. And plus, a lot of businesses frown upon that because of that. If you're dating someone at work and then you break up, then your bosses don't want to see you guys fighting because of what happened last Saturday night where you had the fight where you broke up. And you still haven't told her your feelings that she shut you down at work. Because those are two different relationships that are crossing over each other and making it bad. We never cross the streams. That's a Ghostbusters joke, by the way. Anyway, so work relationships don't really work. All right, but you have a relationship at work, whether it's a friendship and work. It's hard to explain. You're friends with the person you work with, but you're not going out with the person you work with. You know what I mean? There's so many different kinds of relationships out there that it's hard to, get a grip on just being a simple, loving friendship. The ones I have are great. The relationships I have, the people that I live with, the people that I live near, and the friends that I have here where I live in New Jersey are fantastic. I have a friend that lives down the street from me, Jimmy, and his family. Now, I don't get to see him all the time, but, he calls me up, I call him up. We're friends. That's a great relationship. There's no fighting. I might post something stupid on Facebook about something that, happened 20 years ago, but he reminds me that it happened 20 years ago. And he does it in good taste and a good friendly way. He doesn't make it so that I'm mad at him or he's embarrassing me. Plus, I don't really get embarrassed about that many things. But that's a good relationship. There's no relationships that are called hate ships, where you hate someone and you keep on hating on each other, and that's a hating relationship. That sounds stupid. I don't think there's anything such like that. Like I said, the only kind of relationship that I think of that you're going to get beat up or maybe slapped around a little bit is, an S&M relationship. But I'm not into that. Maybe some of you out there are, and go for it. Tie one on for me. Anyway, so I like that people bond with each other, whether it's a work relationship that's single, a marriage relationship, a dating relationship. Because dating, all that is testing the relationship if it's going to work and become a marriage relationship. It's a step. Uh, you find out if this will work forever. Forever is a long time. But if you want to be married, that's a relationship that keeps evolving and evolving and evolving. If you want to date for the rest of your life, well, after 7 years, I think it is, it's legally married, whatever. Anyway, I have a weird relationship that I have to talk to you about. It's a relationship with these guys behind me, which is a relationship. It's a one-way relationship. They don't know me. I mean, I've met them tons and tons of times, and I love them. Yes, Kiss. I love them. I will go see their shows. I love them. I will buy their stuff. I have stuff in this room that I'm in right now that's all over the walls of Kiss. When I was younger, I loved the Grateful Dead. The Grateful Dead did things for me that was unbelievable. It brought me to the people that I know in California, in which I'm still friends with. I love them. Um, I went to shows with them. It, like I said in another episode, it brought me together with a whole bunch of people that being in that concert was like everyone, it was a big relationship. Everyone loved each other and everyone was happy to be there and everyone was happy to be with each other. There was no fighting. There was no blaming. There was nothing. It was, we were all one big unit. It was great, solid. And then Jerry Garcia passed away. And it was such a relationship for me that I was so upset and bummed about it that I haven't been able to see any show with the Grateful Dead and another singer because it's it makes me so sad that he and his music and his words and his voice did something to me inside that I miss terribly. In fact, when I hear a Grateful Dead song with Jerry Garcia singing now on the radio or something like that, I get a tear in my eye and I think about all the people that I hung around with in California and that were my friends and that are still my friends. And I remember all the things that I did when I was younger and with them, and I miss it so much. And people that I met, I miss them so much. It just makes me so sad that I can't see them as much as I would like to see them now. But if you're watching, there you are. I miss you guys. I still love you guys. I'd love to see you someday. Um, I always liked Kiss, even when I liked the Grateful Dead. I just didn't mix them together because they were two different kind of crowds to most people. To me, I like Kiss because of the theatrics. I like theatric stuff. I like theater. I like the arts. You wouldn't say by looking at me that I'm an artsy fartsy type person, but I do. I love art shows. I love see that that's a relationship in a way to me. I like that stuff. I have a relationship with art, theatrics. I have a relationship with music. I play the ukulele. I play the guitar. I play the drums. I like music. There's a relationship there. It could be a one-sided relationship because I have a relationship with something that can't give me a relationship back. Although Kiss and Grateful Dead, they could give me relationships back because they gave me friends. They gave me music to listen to. They gave me feelings. That's part of a relationship. It did things to me that most people have never done for me before. Um, I just feel comfortable when I'm at a concert watching. When I did watch The Grateful Dead, I felt very comfortable. I was in my own. That was where I was supposed to be. Or when I go to a Kiss concert, which I'll be going to in a couple of weeks for their last one, and that one's going to bum me out too because if this is their really last one, then it's going to be hard because who else do I really like and that I would like to go see? Yes, I like music, but that's a relationship right there. I'm a fan. I'm related to them that I love them to the point that I love their music. They do something for me. They give me back something. They give me joy. That's what my wife gives me. She gives me joy. Yes, she wants me to wash the dishes and take the garbage out and clean the dog poop up in the backyard. But that's part of the relationship. It's messed up in a way, but when you think about it, but that's what relationships are. It's give and take. You can't have a relationship when you do everything and nothing comes back to you. That's like having a relationship with a wall. I see these shows where these people are in love with walls and and, uh, and structures. I've seen these weird shows. People actually have to be next to a certain structure, and they think they want to marry it, and I don't understand what's in their head. I think they either did a lot of LSD when they were younger, or their parents did. But that's besides the point, and that's not the kind of relationship that I want to be in, and that's not the kind of relationships that I'm talking about. Uh, but the relationships that I've talked about tonight should be, in all, a good relationship. You should have a binding, loving relationship, whether it's not loving, liking, because, if you're dating, that's a relationship, like I said, and it's a step. And whether it turns out for good or it doesn't turn out for bad. You know what I mean? I've seen these shows where these housewife shows and these reality shows that my wife watches, and I watch a couple of them with her. And one of them is a show called Vanderpump Rules. I know you're gonna probably give me a hard time that you watch that show. Well, I watch it because Lisa Vanderpump, she's a hot-looking woman, and I like looking at her. So, yes, I know I can't have her. I have her my wife, but I can always look at the menu. I just can't order. You know what I mean? So, and she's a beautiful woman. But there's people on that show, and they're younger than me. But one of them has a relationship. Two of them have a relationship together that one of them never wants to have kids and never wants to get married. And every time the guy brings it up, she gets mad at him. What kind of relationship is that? And the last episode I saw, he brought it up again, and she got mad at him. Don't ever bring it up. I don't want kids, and I don't ever want to get married. Then why are you going out together? If nothing's going to happen, this is your testing of a relationship. This is your test. You don't want to be with this person for the rest of your life. She doesn't seem too into being with you at all, having kids with you, or getting married to you. She doesn't like the things that you like. And then they say, oh, well, wait 10 years, so you think I got a chance in 10 years. Why would you wait 10 years to see if this woman's going to change her mind? Or even if it's a man that's going to change his mind, why would you wait that long? There could be something right there around the corner for you right now. That 10 years that you're going to wait, you're going to miss a whole bunch of time that you could be finding someone that's perfect for you. Absolutely perfect for you. As I thought in my head throughout the years that I've dated, that when I first dated, she was a great person. But when we broke up, I went to another. Not right away, but I found someone else down the line. And to me, in my head, every person I dated, the next person was better than the person before in some way. And it came to the point where I actually went better and better until I found the right woman I wanted to spend the rest of my life with. Like I said, dating is a test. It's a practice. It's something that you're practicing for the big show. And I'm in the big show right now. Yes, I have to take the garbage out and put the dishes in the dishwasher because she can't put the dishes right in the dishwasher. That's what makes me so mad about this relationship. So that's why she gets mad at me to put the dishes in the dishwasher because she don't do it anymore. So, in conclusion of this show, and I'm so glad that you came to watch, or you're going to watch on the videotape later on, or whatever. You're going to come to YouTube and come see my show. That would be great. In conclusion, I just wish that you guys out there wouldn't have all this relationship shit problems. Um, have a relationship because you want to be happy, because you want to feel loved. You want to love someone else. They want to return that to you. You want to have a fun time together. You want to be with that person till death. Or have a relationship where you're dating and you're finding out what's great about the dating. When you break up, try, I know it sounds so hard, but I guess try not to put the other person down. Just say, listen, this isn't working out. Maybe the next person will be better for you. I'm not the best person for you. You know something, maybe breakups don't have to be so bad. They're bad because there's always one person in that relationship. Because there's only two. Unless there's three, then that's totally different kind of relationships too. It's up there with, well, whatever. That's up there with the S&M relationships and all the other kind of stuff. But most relationships should be one-on-one. And there's only one person out of that relationship that's going to feel upset. They really love that person or like that person more than the other person does. And that's why the other person needs to feel that they need to separate because it's not equal and it's not working for that other person. So maybe when it comes to breaking up, it can be a little bit less hurtful. Maybe we don't fight and call each other names that you're going to regret down the line. You know, like I said, a relationship should be happy and fun and loving and, you know, giving joy and returning joy. That's all about a relationship. So I want to thank you for watching. Shit happens. I would like to thank a whole bunch of people. The first person I really like to thank and give a shout out to is Jimmy, because I might have not really done it right, but I'm still trying, Jimmy. Thanks for your body. Thanks for the body that you told me about, and thanks for telling me about your body and how a body should work. I'd like to also thank Rita Powers because she's posted this on her Facebook page, and she's a good friend of mine, and she also, what she does for a living, she's done some things for me, but she's been a best friend. And thank you, Rita. I also want to thank my wife because I wouldn't be in this friggin' relationship. No, I love her to death, but I wouldn't have a relationship if I didn't know her. And it's 10 years coming up for me and her on September 19th. And that's a long relationship. It's actually longer than 10 years because I've known her for 3 years before that. So it's almost 13, 14 years it's coming up on. I'd like to thank my mom because I have a great relationship with my mom. That's something I really would talk about parents because that should be already known because, parents brought you into this world. But I like to thank my mom because I have an awesome relationship with my mom. And I like to thank a couple of other people. George, I have a great work relationship with him. I don't know who else to thank, but I want to give some shout outs to John Graham at Telstar Jewelers on 1410 Snyder Avenue in Philadelphia. If you want to go for that big relationship of marriage, maybe go see him. He can make you a great wedding ring. He's fantastic. I like to thank his son Justin for my regular clothing and things that I wear tonight. I'm wearing something from a thrift shop, which is my favorite, the Goonies. Goonies never die. Anyway, I'd like to thank everyone that watches, Bill, America, um, Mark, uh, Slave, Bill, Dinger, a whole bunch of you out there. Wizard, Gina. You guys are great. I want to tell you that next week is St. Patty's Day. Now, I'm not Irish, but my wife, she's as Irish as can be. So we're going to be going away, but on Sunday, we're going to do holiday shit. And that's going to be about holidays that I didn't even know existed until I looked on my phone recently, and now we have all these new holidays. Because when I was a kid, there was only like 5 or 6 major holidays because we were out of school, and now all of a sudden we got tons of different new holidays. So we're going to talk about holiday shit. I said last week that we were going to talk about political shit, and I would have a guest, Steve Hook, from the Rat Radio, but he cannot make it for another week or so. So we're eventually going to have him. We're eventually going to have my friend Jimmy, and we're going to talk about some entertainment and media shit. And he's going to come in, and I'm going to ask him some questions. And we're going to have a couple other people down the line. But right now, we're going to stick to a couple of different things. I also wanted to say before I left tonight that last week's show was a little short. And it's going to be dealing with another show, offensive shit. I wanted to go off and tell you more about shit that was funny to me. But it's hard because it's all about nowadays, like I said in that show, people get offended for all kinds of stuff. I don't know why. Can't we just be people like we have been for years? And now all of a sudden people come up with this politically correct bull crap and all this, I'm offensive. I'm offended. If you come to this show and you watch it, and I say anything that offends you, then don't watch it. And don't listen to me. And don't be my friends on Facebook. Because I don't care. I don't care if I offend you. I don't care if I say something that's not politically correct. Because that's not who I am. I want to be normal. I want to be like I was when I was 5 years old and didn't know about political correct shit and who I was offending. I'm not going to be taking down any statues. I have a couple of statues in this office, but I'm not taking them down because of what you feel or what you've heard or what. It's just crap to me. How are we going to be a community when we're taking down shit that other people have history to because you're offended? That's ridiculous to me. And what's causing that? It's because everyone's upset and mean and no one gives a shit. And shit happens. And I'm talking about all the shit that happens. So whether you don't like the shit that I talk about and it offends you, like I said, then don't watch the show. And you can go take your shit somewhere else. But thank you again. If you have any questions or comments, and I'm sure you do, don't be shy. Text me. You know my number, text me, my phone number. If you know my Facebook page, send me a Facebook message. If you know my Instagram, which is master___stroke, go there, send me a message. If you know my email, which is masterstrokeproductions@yahoo.com, send me an email. In fact, I want to know what kind of phrases you guys can come up with that have shit in it or shit happens. And I want to know what's the best one. I want to pick the best one for next week or the week ahead. And I'll give you a free shout out, or I'm getting some shirts made. Maybe I'll give you a shirt. But you have to watch the show and you have to give me some feedback. All right? So remember, in the end, doesn't matter what I say, because shit happens. Bye. I'm gonna go and fucking put the dishes in the dishwasher for this friggin' relationship that I love. See ya.